patch highlights, card acquisition changes. These are the aforementioned band-aid fixes they said they were going to implement while they're still working on a actual full rework of the acquisition system. So they said doubling the drop rate of Series 3 cards in collector's reserves from 2 out of every 9 to 4 out of every 9. So if you are not yet Series 3 complete, you will actually start getting a lot more cards as you level up your collection level. This will substantially reduce the time newer players need to acquire all Series 3 cards. Yep. Note, you must update your game before opening collector's reserves or else you will not receive the increased Series 3 rate. Increasing the token payout from Spotlight Cache duplicates from 1,000 tokens to 2,000 tokens. We know there are multiple issues with the Spotlight Cache system, but one of the biggest complaints is pulling a duplicate from the 4th slot with a hard-earned Spotlight key. So just get rid of the duplicate protection. Implement duplicate protection. This isn't duplicate protection. Make it that if you get the 4th slot, it will give you a card you don't have. If you already have all the cards, then you get tokens as a fallback reward. Or booby prize, whatever you want to call it. Note, you must update your game before opening Spotlight Caches or else you will not receive the increased tokens for a duplicate. There you go. Card updates. None of these are functional changes. We're updating the text of cards that trigger as the game begins for brevity using our new game start ability you saw previewed in the last Arisham update. So basically they're updating all of these cards, Agatha, Thanos, Uatu, High Evo, Hulkling, to basically have game start and then what they do at the game start. And then there's a bunch of bug fixes, which we're not going to go into, but I will link you guys the patch notes. I will link you all the patch notes. Link it on YouTube as well. So, that is all of the patch notes. Now, the most important thing about new patch day is, of course, datamined new cards. So, we're going to get into the datamined section. So, spoiler alert, if you don't want to know, look away now, because we'll be going over all of the new stuff that's been datamined. Let's get stuck into it. So, January 2025 patch. Now, as we know, the February season is a Captain America Brave New World season, and it was previously datamined that the March season will be a 1 million BC season. Because Marvel did this thing where they made it that there was an Avengers team during 1 million BC, and it featured characters like Odin, Agamotto, the first Ghost Rider, the first Black Panther, the first Iron Fist, you know, stuff like that. The first Phoenix, you know, or first host of the Phoenix, I should say. So yeah, so that's what's coming up in March. Now the bulk of this is going to be the March 1 million BC stuff. That's the key art for the February season, or the in-game screen, and this will be the in-game screen for the 1 million BC season. We've got Agamotto, Black Panther, Khonshu, Firehair, who was the Phoenix Force host, and Starbrand. And we'll get into those as you know, as we get to them. So, oh, and confirmed that the April season is What If. So there you go, that's kind of cool. So we get a What If season in April. Battle Pass, Prehistoric Avengers, March 2025. Gather Earth's most mystic might with Agamotto in the latest premium season pass. So Agamotto is the season pass card. Now, we've got new cards here. Now, what we'll do is we're going to go over these. Right. Make sure that we didn't miss any of them. Right. So, there's been some changes as well. So, Cobra has changed. Cobra was a 3/6. Now he's a 2/3, and he was. You can only play this at a location where your opponent has exactly one card, which was bad. Now he's a 2/3 with activate. Switch an enemy card here that didn't start in your opponent's deck to your side. So you basically yoink you yoink an Arisham player's card, basically. I like this. This is a lot better than the previous ability. Much better. So Cobra basically slithers over to your opponent's side and kidnaps a card and brings it to your side. That's really cool. I like that. Another card that changed is Redwing. Redwing was a 1/2, and it was on reveal, return one of your other 1-cost cards here to your hand to give it +2 power. Now, Redwing is a 3/3. The first time this moves, add a card from your hand to the old location. So, yeah. That's definitely something complete different. It's not a bounce card anymore. It's a move card now. So they've completely changed the archetype that this goes in. And then we get stuck into the new cards for March. First cab off the rank is the Season Pass card, which is Agamotto. He is a 6/12. At the start of the game, shuffle card token count spells into your deck. Now, I don't know what that's meant to be, how they determine how many spells he will shuffle into the deck. We have some examples of some of the spells here. We have the Winds of Watum. Also, fun fact, the Wand of Watum can be seen in one of the display cases in the Sanctum Sanctorum map in Marvel Rivals. Basically, it's just strong winds that this spell summons up. Now, they've datamined this as the Icy Tendrils of Ixthalon, but the card just says Temporal Manipulation. So I don't know whether it's the ice spell or the time manipulation spell. I would assume it goes by what's on the card, the name on the card. But again, this is all datamine stuff. So, who knows? And then we get the Images of Icon, which is basically it summons up a bunch of illusions. There's also the Bolts of Bolthak, which is basically just energy bolts. And then there's also the Flames of the Faltine. Now, fun fact, the Faltine is the race that Clea comes from. And Dormammu. They're the Faltine. So you summon up their flames, like they're like it's basically a flamethrower. So he shuffles all of them into your deck at the start of the game. So they'll probably change that to game start. And then, yeah, but I don't know how they're going to do the card token count. That's going to be interesting to see how they do that. And then we get some variants. This is in the general pool. This one's in the general pool. And this one's on the season pass. It's Alex Hawley. And then the first other card of the new season, the first spotlight card of the new season, is Eson. Eson is one of the Celestials. I believe he was dubbed the Searcher or the Seeker. Like Arisham is the Judge, Eson was the Searcher. Now, as you can see, he's a 6/13, so he's a chunky boy. And it says here, Legendary. I do not know what this is. There's no other indication in the data mines as to what this could mean. But it also says at the start of the game, so again, they'll probably change this to game start. If all your cards have different powers, give them +2 power. So powers as in the orange number. Right? So that's kind of cool. That forces you to think about your deck construction. You want to build a deck that doesn't have any duplicate powers. And then at the start of the game, he gives them all +2. That's kind of cool. I like this idea. I like cards that encourage experimentation or differentiation in deck design. But yeah, but that's cool base art by Mello. And then there's also the Spotlight variant is Alex Hawley. So he is the first of the new cards, first Spotlight cards in March. The second one is Starbrand. Now the Starbrand is actually the symbol on this guy's chest. And the Starbrand is described as a planetary defense system. It imbues the brand's bearer with vast power, like vast energy powers. And they are used to defend the planet that they're on. There's been a few different Starbrand wielders throughout Marvel history, but this guy was the first one back in like 1 million BC. As you can see, he's a 6'8", and it says at the start of the game, +2 power for each card in your deck with 10 or more power. So he's a Surtur deck friend. And again, cool art from Mello. And then the Spotlight Cache is an Alex Hawley variant, which is just awesome. So the third new card for March is Firehair. And as I said before, Firehair was the first human host of the Phoenix Force. And in Snap, she's a 2/2 with, you can move this once. When this moves, revive one of your destroyed cards here. Cool. Could be good in Destroyed X. So like if you eat death with venom, you can bring death back with Firehair, for example. And so yeah, again, cool art from Mello. He's got wolves. I like this. He's got wolves in the base card art. And then there's also this Fireball Studio variant, which looks really cool, but that's in the super rare pool. And then there is Alex Hawley variant, is the Spotlight variant, which is also just gorgeous art from Alex Hawley. Okay, so that was the third card for March. The last week of March, the last Spotlight card is Khonshu, as in Moon Knight's patron moon god. That Khonshu. He's been datamined as a 2/1, but no ability yet. We don't know what he's going to do. So we'll probably, like next month when they do the next month's patch, hopefully this will get an update and we get an idea of what he's going to do. But again, cool base card art from Mello. And there's also a Fireball Studio super rare. And an Alex Hawley variant for the Spotlight variant. Really, really cool. Now, there's been two other cards data mined for March as well. There's Fan Fei, who was the original Iron Fist in 1 million BC, the original wielder of the Iron Fist. No card art, but it says here she's a 4/5 with, when you discard this, put it back waxing and get +1 energy next turn. Now, that leads me to think they might have messed up with the data mine info here, because if you look on the list here, it's got Khonshu waxing, Khonshu full. Right? And this says when you discard this, put it back waxing and get +1 energy next turn. This makes me think this is Khonshu's ability. Khonshu being the moon god, the moon waxes and wanes, and this ability does the same thing. So I have a feeling this is what we're going to see Khonshu be. So it's possible this is a high voltage card or a Dyna card or something like that. And then there's one other new card that's been data mined. for March. Ghost, the first rider. And he's been data mined as a 2/4 and there's no description. And this is all we know. So that was all the new cards that were data mined. Some of these have got the changes, like this change, like game start was the change. And then we get some new locations. We have the Smithsonian Museum. Your cards here have +1 power for each ongoing among them. And then we have Madripoor, the island nation of Madripoor, which is after each turn, give each highest cost card here +2 power. They've also data mined a new game mode, Location War. It's hard to tell exactly what's there as there isn't much code or text, but it's looking like its first version will launch with I think it's meant to be Doctor Strange themed version called Sanctum Showdown. 15 turns, and every turn a location is selected to be contested. The winner scores points. At the end of each turn, a card from each player's board on that contested location is removed from the game and placed back in the deck. Okay. Sounds weird. I'm all for new game modes that are very much different to the base game mode. Like Conquest is just base snap. Diner is just base snap. High Voltage is snap with 3 rounds with no snapping, which I still don't understand the point of that. So they're all still pretty much base snap. They all play the same way. This sounds like it's going to play quite different. Still got locations, you've still got to contest them, but you're only contesting one at a time. And then it shuffles cards back into the deck and stuff like that. So there could be a lot of strategy here, and I like the sound of this on the surface. Be keen to learn more about this and find out, you know, what the deal is with it. This is this month's Spotlight caches. We won't go over those. We've got February Spotlight caches there. We won't go over those. I'll link this in the chat and in the YouTube video description so folks can check it out themselves. So here's March's ones. We've got, Eson is week 1 with Beta Ray, Bill, and Wiccan. We've got Starbrand is week 2 with Scar and Phaistos. Firehair is week 3 with Cassandra Nova and Nico. And then Khonshu is week 4 with Scorn and Cersei. And again, we've still got Fan Fei the Iron Fist and Ghost the First Rider. Which, again, I would assume they could even be that Sanctum Showdown rewards, for all we know. We've got some new albums. We've got an Envar Studio album. We've got a very cool John Tyler Christopher Negative Space variant albums. These were all comic covers he's done, where he themes the negative space around the central color of the character. You know, like red for Iron Man, and it blends in, like yellow for Vision. You know, blue for Thanos. I've always liked these comic book covers. And it's cool to see that they're bringing him into Snap as a variant. And then they got, Black Panther with, Black Space negative variant. Negative space variant. So that's cool. I like that. But, 700. They're actually all 700 variants. Wow. This is really cool. We finally get an album of really cool looking variants, and they're 700, not 12. And there's a Spotlight key up for grabs? Holy shit. Chat. They're learning. They're actually learning that they can't keep rinsing their players with 1200 gold variant albums. They're actually learning. Oh my god. New Conquest variant is Debris, which I don't know why. It's got nothing to do with 1 million BC. New Ultimate variant and new super duper califragilistic season pass premium variant is Moon Knight 1 million BC. And then we get a bunch of new variants. We get a Dan Hip Arisham. Also they're doing these cool dinosaur variants. Because the Fantastic Four found a world that basically was all dinosaurs. Humans didn't become the dominant species. Dinosaurs remained the dominant species. So you've got like Black Widow as a pterodactyl. You've got Captain America as a Spinosaurus. You've got Captain Marvel as a dinosaur. You've got Doctor Strange as a dinosaur. That is a sick as hell. That's Alex Hawley, of course it is. I love that variant. Invisible Woman as a Triceratops. Iron Man as a Brachiosaurus. And again, this is Eduardo Mello art. This is cool shit. I like that stuff from him. I like those variants. They're really cool. So yeah, more cool variants. Oh, there was a really cool Cosmo variant as well from Sean Galloway. Oh yeah, we got 1 million BC Hawkeye and Heimdall. Oh yeah, there's the Thing as a Pachycephalosaurus. There's Thor as a dinosaur as well. Alright, so that's really cool. Rian Gonzalez, Victoria Hand. More bundles. I won't go through all these bundles. Although some of the dinosaur ones are bundles. And gold bundles at that. Oh yeah, $20 for the Iron Man. Oh, he's a Brontosaurus? I thought he was a Brachiosaurus. Anyway. Won't go through all those. Any titles? Right, no titles. Yeah, alright. So, that looks like that is everything for March. Avengers 1 million BC is the season theme. Pretty cool.